What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fat Bass TV. Today oh man, today I want to talk to you guys about my top spring lures. And I didn't put a number in there for a specific reason, because there's no correct lure for whatever the condition is. You got to play it by ear, because in the springtime every day is different. Every day is different in the springtime. You got cold days, you got warm days, you got sometimes hot days, you got rainy days, you got high pressure days. There's no 5 lures that'll do everything. There's not. But I'm going to show you what I have tied on, that I keep tied on from February all the way through just about to the end of fall, but for the most part till summertime. Let's get right into it. Alright, so you're going to notice there's going to be a trend in fishing line, and any of you guys that have watched my channel long enough know that I like throwing braid. About 90% of my rods and reels have braid, and it's going to keep going the same way. So we're going to start with Topwater, and then we're going to move our way down. So the very first thing, Whopper Plopper. This is the Whopper Plopper 110. This thing catches bass. It does. It's a bass catching machine. If you have the patience to throw it. Not a lot of people have the patience to throw this thing, because it's an intimidating bait. It is. But if you get the confidence to throw it, you will catch some bass. You will catch some good bass. I'm throwing this thing. I'm throwing it on a 7-foot medium heavy with a 6:3 to 1 gear ratio reel with, I think this is 50-pound braid. Alright, so the next two are going to go hand in hand. I have both of them tied on because you never know what the situation is going to bring, whether you'll see. Alright, so the next two lures are frogs. I have just a walking frog, just a regular walking frog, and I have a popping frog. I'm going to have these tied on all the way through November. I keep them tied on to these rods, but from now till November I carry them with me every time I go. May not use them all the time, but I do carry them, because you never know when that situation may call for a frog. You get in those in the thick grass and lily pads and things like that, where you can't get your whopper ploppers and anything, buzz baits and all that in there. That's when you need the frog. These next group of lures, I'm going to consider them mid-depth lures. I'm only going to target fish that are shallow from here till middle of summer, till they start moving back deep. Everything I'm going to fish is going to be shallow from here on out. So I want some lures that, one, I can fish shallow, and two, I'm looking for lures that I can fish near heavy cover. Now I'm going to show you these. Some of these you've seen me catch fish on, some of them you hadn't, some of them are new, but this one right here is the one that I'm most excited about, and I haven't had a chance to catch a fish on it, but it's coming. It's coming real soon. And that is this is the 6 Sense. It's the Movement 80X. This thing right here. And this thing, just by watching it in the water, it is dynamite. This thing moves it swims in a S pattern. So the Movement 80X, it is a phenomenal square bill crankbait. It only dives to 3 feet. It swims in a S pattern unlike any other square bill I've ever seen. It in a S pattern, is wide, it's awesome. Bounces off a cover like it's nobody's business. So I'm going to throw this thing when I get around docks, stumps, not so much laydowns because they're more horizontal than vertical, but your vertical cover, your dock post, your stumps, things like that, I'm going to throw that thing right up next to it, and it's going to catch some fish. I know it is. I just haven't had the chance to do it yet. So the next three are going to fall kind of in the same category, but all three of them do something different. But I'm going to fish them the same exact way in the same exact spot. It just depends on what the fish want. And you guys have seen these. This one is the chatterbait. I still have that bright clown colored one on. Next one is a spinnerbait. Look guys, right now is the time to put these giant blades on. I've had a few comments about them, to put these big blades on. This one right here, it's a number 6, and this one is a number 3. I've had quite a few people ask me. This is a number 3 blade. And the third one is going to be this little swim bait. Just your regular old, just your regular old swim bait. This is the Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper. This thing, and the color is Houdini. I've had people ask me about that. This is the only one I threw. Houdini Reaction Innovations, and that thing catches fish like it's nobody's business. All three of those I'll fish them on anywhere from a 6.6 to a 7.4 medium heavyish. I'm going to be throwing these things in the cover. Stick ups, lay downs, grass, lily pads, it don't matter. I'm throwing it in there. If I can make that thing, if I can make this lure swim through there, I'm gonna throw it in there. I promise you. 50-pound braid is what I got tied on. That way I can horse them out. All right, so these last two that I want to talk about, that in the springtime I'm always gonna have them with me, regardless where I'm going, regardless of what I'm doing. All these ones that I'm talking about, I'm bringing with me. Now I may bring some other ones, but these I will be using. You guys have seen this one here. This next one, alright, so this next one I know you guys have seen a ton. It's swim jig. This thing is in the Cajun bluegill color. I like bright colors in the springtime. I really do. I want that thing to pop. I want the fish to be able to see it. A lot of times in the spring, and it's especially right now, you get a lot of rain. It'll rain, a couple days, and there'll be sunny a day, and then it'll rain a couple days, and that's gonna muddy up that water. And I want some bright colors right now. So when I'm out fishing, I know that fish is going to see my lure. I'm going to keep these tied on until, I don't know, end of spring, early summer, when the rainy season stops. I was about to say starts. Stops. The next one I want to talk about, and I haven't really talked about this one very much, but it's one that I always have. This next one, it's just your regular old Texas rig. Right now I have a lizard tied on, just because it's fixing to be the spawn, and bass hate lizards. So another thing I like to do that I don't talk a whole lot about is I keep a bobber stop. I keep one on almost every one of my rods that I have fluorocarbon tied on. I keep a bobber stop. A few of you have asked about it, but that's just in case if I want to swap rods and tie on some kind of Texas rig, so that way I'll have a brush hog, straight tail worm, and a lizard. I already have the bobber stop on there. That's just one less thing I have to do. If I'm not using it, I just pull it up out of the way, and it's not in the way. That's all it is to it. And another thing that I do that I don't talk about, this is a 3/8 ounce tungsten weight, but a lot of people use glass beads to make them clack. I don't. This right here I like to use. This is just your little metal Carolina rig clacker. If I can. There it is. So that's just your little Carolina rig clacker. I like to put that on and then put my weight on, and that just gives it that extra tick. But you don't run the risk of the glass bead damaging your line. I can't tell you how many times I've had a glass bead break and then end up cutting my line. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video. It's hard for me to make like a top 5 video because I use so many different lures. I do, and I want you guys to see exactly what I'm using for this time of the year. That's why I made, I think it's 8 or 9 of them. But that's the ones I'm going to be using for the next 4 or 5 months. Day in and day out when I go fishing, these will be with me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, if you have anything you want to ask, anything about how I have these rigged up, what rod, line, all that, if I didn't go over it, drop a comment down, let me know. Hit that comment, let me know if you have any questions. Hit that subscribe button, it's right there. Right there. Smash it if you hadn't already. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the support. We will see you guys tomorrow.